All right, hey folks, good morning. We're going to do some artwork today. Give me a second here to check in on my signal, make sure that I am coming through clearly. And then I need to do some quick social media posts, and then we'll actually get started. Mic check, sounds pretty good. Check. Check. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, cool. So I'm going to drop this volume down here. I'm going to grab the link. I'm almost done with my startup. I normally have like a starting soon sort of thing, but in the mornings like this, I'm a little more ad hoc. So you go ahead and skip ahead a minute, and I'll catch up with you after the bump. But for those that are here with me now in time space, hi, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish them online, and I'm creating an adventure for Dungeons & Dragons in the Eberron campaign setting using the 5e24 game mechanics or game rules. And almost done. No. V. There we go. And yeah, so I guess let's just get started. This is a flop of an intro. Greetings, I'm nobody. Hello, goodbye. And okay, right. So yeah, making an adventure for Eberron. I've been a DM forever, and like since '87, and I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999, and creating content on the DMsGuild since 2018. But I haven't done anything for Eberron, and I haven't published an adventure. I've created countless adventures, but never scripted out one from tip to stern and all the assets and all the things that go along with actually publishing an adventure. That's what we're doing. So that's what we're doing. We're making interior art right now. We've been working on this one. This is the 11th day of working on this one. The forest took quite some time, and the druid took some time, and now all we need to do is finish this divining pool, and this piece is done. We'll move on to the next piece. I've got like 4 monsters and maybe like 5 interior illustrations to finish, and then I'm done with the artwork. Unless there's like little assets and little fiddly bits that come along the way. So we're going to be shifting gears here probably in December out of art production here on screen. We'll start doing a different series of artwork in the mornings, and I'll be finishing the book off screen and then jumping online occasionally just to show you what's going on with the book and how the process is coming along. But construction isn't really worth more than an episode or two. The artwork's where all the fun is at. So if you have fun today as well, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we are live in the future. Here's a scroll of books that I've created. They all have free previews. Be welcome to check them out. My Discord channel, all the bloody-blahs. And I guess without further ado, we'll actually get started today. So I expect to finish this piece today. And grabbing our Wacom stylus. There's our color blots. And let's see. This is where we want to be at. We got the water separated into the stump. Let's go grab a reference image off of our list of reference images. Sorry, I'm just scoping out stuff that I see. Okay, this is all trash. And let's pull in our references here real quick. Scooch that out of the way because this is the stump that I want. Hello. I don't see color, so we're going to grab some reference colors here. Here, I want to actually, what I need to do is take a look at our saturation down here. Yeah, it's very unsaturated. That's decent. Yeah, it fits right in. All right, it literally fits in. So that means it's the wrong color. I need to find a highlight color for the wood. There it is. Perfect. And I want a shadow color like that. Maybe less like that, more like that feels good. All right, let's try this. And for folks that are new, that don't know the imagery, this is a PDF document, which means it's online only. Here's a full page. So it's 17 inches wide, 10 inches tall, so it's a pretty big size. But this isn't actually what we're going to be seeing. This is all we're actually going to see in the illustration. And this is the text that gets dropped in with it. I've found some typos I wanted to take care of. But otherwise, this document fits full on here at the full screen size on a device. 16 by 9 dimensions. This fits in that space. And then horizontally, vertically, each column is also 16 by 9. So I need to clean up the trim here a little bit. But this is what we get of the illustration. But I wanted to have a full piece just because I wanted one. So I dropped the shields and painted made the full painting just for the full page, just because I like doing landscape stuff. So the forest was a fun little challenge that I wanted to take on, and it was worth the time to me to do it. And when we actually finish this adventure in probably late December, I'll transition from this into the next book that we're going to do art for. But before we do, I want to do a palette cleanser with a couple more pieces of landscape artwork. So if you want to see the techniques and the way that I built this, you can watch the last 10 episodes of this stream that are in the Eberron Adventure Design playlist, or you can like and subscribe and stick around, and we'll do some more of this stuff with mountains and stuff in the future, Bob Ross style. But okay, great. So everything is resolved there. Enough pitches, Kearney. Let's get into our stump. I'm going to conceal the foreground and drop this stuff in here. Yeah, this does need to be lower. Like that. That feels good. So I'm going to dark along down here. And we'll have highlights. Up here. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are my tools? Hold on. Yeah, they screwed around with my tools. Okay, my tools are set. Let's go back down to here. Let's go to File. And no, we want to go to Edit and then Preferences. Keyboard shortcuts is where I want. And then I want to load my defaults from 420, 2021. Okay. Okay, we're back to normal. Yeah, we can rim along. Nope. Like that. We can rim along like this. Where it makes sense. But we're just, literally this stump is like the only thing, the stump and some highlights on the druid. And I don't like that druid's thumb. I'm gonna get to that in a second. I want to mess around with it. But what I do is I first do the line art, and then we color in the flats. It's very comic book style. We color, we do the line art, we color in the flats, and then we do highlights and shadows like I'm doing right now. We do some texturing, and then we bond the line art. We will generally drop the opacity, like make it semi-transparent, the line art, and then blend the line art into. Oh, hey, what's going on? Hey, Punes. Why am I having? Thank you. Wrong layer. Thank you. Let's merge these down. We do the highlights. We reduce the opacity of the line art, and then we blend the line art into the color, and then we do any final texture that's necessary. And that's generally how my techniques work. So it's pretty consistent across all models. Sometimes when I'm doing character or monster illustrations, I'll create a silhouette first, like a black silhouette, and then fill in the color inside of it, and then bond it together, and then go through that same process. But silhouette design is really good when you're building like standalone characters, like posing type characters. That it's useful in general during the coloring process when I have. Oh, by the way, I have my brush at 100%. So when I pull it, it pulls all the pixels with it forever. So I can create this little, zoom in. I can create this grainy effect because the shape of my brush, here I'll show you what this brush is actually, how this brush is actually shaped. This is the smudge brush that I use. I call it my cloud smudge brush. There. See, there's actually a bunch of little infarctions and overlaps. This is a bunch of basically swirly shapes that have varying degrees of opacity stacked up on each other. So the denser, the darker the pigment is here, the higher strength it pulls pixels. So at the edges, it pulls pixels like with a 10% strength, meaning for every 10 pixels, I'm going to drag 1 pixel. Here it's 100%, so that means that if I grab 10 pixels are going to move when I scooch the pen tool. So by having layered opacities, this is what the round soft brush preset is. But that is a perfect striation of opacity, 0 opacity to 100%. This is broken into little phases and tiers, and like you can see, here's a much smoother transition until you hit the hard dark. It's 2 steps. And it has all these cuts into it that are stacked up different layers of tapping that left these little like fissures throughout the piece. I call it my cloud brush because when I grab with this brush and look, if I drop down to like 30 or 40%, look how it diffuses the pixels, because the core of it's being grabbed at 100% and the edges are only being grabbed at 10%. So when I do the smudging effect, it's a really good, like a Gaussian blur, and depending on like what intensity I use. So if I go back to 100%, it's going to grab all the pixels 100% of the time and just drag the hell out of them. So when I do something like this, I start getting these little rivets, or like these little chasms that cut through here, and that is a really easy way for me to simulate bark texture, or one of the ways to demonstrate knotted bark texture. So that's the process. I'm using. We were talking about this yesterday. Using tools. Using the same brush in different ways to create new tools. It's like using the edge or the flat of a blade. It does different things on your work, and you can borrow somebody else's tools, or you could, like for example, these tools that I have that I'm using. They're on my Patreon for free till the end of the year, and then they'll go behind a paywall. But as an appreciation to everybody for me surpassing 500 subscribers, I posted my tool set on my Patreon for free, which is linked down below. Be welcome to go grab it if you are an art enthusiast and tag along with me in the future. Oh, I reached too high. There, let's just keep. just gonna keep carving away at this.
Hi, Jens. How you doing, man? What's your opinion on one-page dungeons? The yearly contest collection seems like
Insane value. I think they're an interesting design. Being able to create a small dungeon and then providing enough information to be able to utilize them and to have them function. Obviously, the OSR, which is where the one-page dungeons I think is native to. It's really difficult to do a one-page dungeon with 5e unless you just like mention a monster and don't have any stat blocks for it needed. Because 5e just has default monster hit points and damage and stuff like that. If you look it up in the monster manual, you're pretty good to go. But yeah, I like them. I think they're cool design ideas. I did for Inkwell Ideas. I did about, I want to say 90 index card adventures. If you've seen that series by Inkwell Ideas, it's basically it's a deck of cards. On one side there's a map, and on the other side there's like 5 or 6, like there's a quick description, like 5 or 6 plot points in like a challenge or something. And I did about, I didn't do the cartography. It was my first written adventure gig. It was actually the very first freelance RPG adventure, the first freelance RPG gig I took after I decided to start getting into building my own RPGs. So I decided I should learn structure a little bit. So I'm going to take on some adventure writing gigs and stuff like that to kind of wet my tongue, or prep myself for being an RPG creator. And so Inkwell Ideas recruited me as a freelance writer, and like I want to say like 80 of them, like urban settings, pirate settings, a goth horror setting. But yeah, he already had I think he had just like Dyson maps or something on one side. And he's like, yeah, fill that index card with like 7-point fonts, just whatever, just make an adventure, make a scenario that's interesting. And that was a lot of fucking fun to do. I did that back, I want to did that back in 2016. And he's still selling those things. He obviously got strong value. I didn't get a percentage of it. It was my first gig. I got like, I want to say of the 80 that I did, I got like something like $400. I mean, it was a decent deal and it was fun. So it was basically interning for cash. But so, having said all of that, I also did a number of layers in the Chronomancy book. The Adventures in Chronomancy on DMsGuild. I did a number of, there were two-page spreads done. I did the map on one side and then the adventure on the other. Those are all one-page quote-unquote one-page dungeons. And so yeah, big fan. I think they're cool. I don't spend a lot of time with them in general, but there's certainly something. They're light reading. They're interesting. I should spend more time looking at them. It's been a while since I've grabbed any of them. So thanks for the reminder. Yeah, I'm a fan. I am a legitimate enthusiast of one-page. Have I rambled enough yet? Am I rambling today? I feel like I'm really just glarbledy-darp. But I'm just putting in time for texture. There we go. Let's break these up a little bit like that.
Hey, Defected. But I don't remember, do you play other tabletop games aside from TTRPG, like games like Dead of Winter, Dominion?
Oh man, I'm a big Dominion fan. That's a great card game. Catan, who doesn't play Catan? Was it Everdell? The resources, it has the 4 seasons and you stack resources. It's got little like Mouse Ritter type characters throughout it. I think Everdell, or is it Everglen or Everdell? That's a really cool board game. I like that. I played Arkham Horror, which is a good game. Oh man, what was it? There's a game where you play scientists trying to capture an escaped velociraptor from a genetics lab, and you have one team has hunters and scientists. The other player has the dinosaur and babies, and the dinosaur is trying to get away with as many babies as possible, and the scientists and hunters are trying to capture as many of them as you can before you escape. And it's a non-mirroring what is that? An asymmetrical two-player game of opposition, you use different rules. What's that game? There's a really cool game. It's like chess. It's like a Chinese themed chess, except that each card in your hand allows you to move pieces on the board a specific way, and then you discard it and then you pick it up. Like one will have you move like this. Another one will have you move like this, and then you can end your turn here or here. So you have to be able to place. You have to be able to move through the sequence and then hop a step to be able to get to either one of these positions. There's like one that does like this, and it's like you can only move the pieces on the chessboard in the actual pattern of the piece. Like you can have a piece here, and then it jumps a step, and then you can move like this. So if you need to maneuver around a piece that's positioned here, you can bump and then bump. I can't remember the fucking name of that game. That's a fun one. So yeah, I am open to playing board games. The Dune board game where you play Chome Corp or the Bene Gesserit or the Fremen or House Leto. That's a really cool game where you're trying to basically gather the most spice or take control of the most territories, or in the case of the Fremens, kill everyone. Like everyone has different goals, but you'll have the same sort of basic mechanics that you use at the same time, but your goals are different, and your bonus resources and like what you get to do is different. Like Bene Gesserit get to look at your hand, for instance. Fremen don't have to spend movement to move anywhere on the Arrakis map. Chome Corp doesn't have to pay for using planetary interstellar travel to bring in more troops. It's a really cool game. I really, really enjoy that one. I'm also a big spades enthusiast. I'm a massive backgammon fan. I love backgammon. If you want to believe in magic, play backgammon a lot because you'll start to feel the dice. It's amazing. Just the magic that we were able to pull off with that. I'm serious. We would get 40 or 50 games into playing backgammon on an afternoon in college, and we were calling shots. We get to the point it's like double fours, and he's like crack double fours. It's like I feel like it's a 2 and a 3. Bam, 2 and a fucking 3. It was amazing, amazing. I strongly recommend playing stupid amounts of backgammon. The end.
Hey, what's up? Asking because I'm developing a few board games, and I currently have one that needs lots of art. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Oh my god, I can imagine.
Good luck, man.
You might be able to find some free time for me somewhere. But I got it.
Right. Well, drop me a message in Discord. It's I may have some space for a commission or two before I start up the next book while I'm finishing this one off screen. So I'm open to the conversation, but I make no promises. As always. That's just kind of my default setting. It's just I spend a ton of time doing books, but I am open to doing commissions occasionally. I'm just adding because the lighting is coming from this pool here. I'm just adding a lot of it's just circumference shading. So just going around the base. And once I have the shading in here, I'm going to bond the line art into the stump. I'm going to leave it independent of the light source, though. Just going to lift that up. Yeah, that's a good start. So let's drop the opacity here. And then duplicate the group. and then merge the group. Now it's one layer, so now I can do some cleanup. Like that. There we go. I can do some cool little highlights here. And then I'm gonna override the. I'm going to. I'm using the wrong brush. Here, let's go here. There we go. That'll be better. Good. Is that it? Yeah. Oh boy. Good luck. Cards are nasty. I have illustrated card games before, and they are beasts. It is achievable. You have to pace yourself and give yourself lots of self-care and love, but it can be done. Smooth that out a little bit. Yeah, we're gonna finish this today. And that means tomorrow we're gonna start on next week. I'm probably gonna do monster art tomorrow. We got a few more monster tokens to complete, and we have some a few more interior illustrate, like a few page interior pieces. But I think I have to build up the courage to start different phases of a project. I have to psych myself up into it. Like basically, it's like I have to think through what happens and get a feel for it before I actually start doing it. And I've been getting a feeling for starting all the hyperlinking and referential stuff inside of the actual adventure itself. Like six specters, and then you can click on specter, and it'll take you to the specter page in the monster manual that we have in here. Like all the monsters that we have in the adventure are in the monster manual at the in the appendix of the adventure. So you could go on D&D Beyond or crack open your monster manual if you want to, but we've filled in all those monsters, and it's a small, since it's a small portion. You're not supposed to take large blocks of information from the core rule books and drop them into your game. But if it's referential and relevant to what you're specifically doing, not just general, but specific to what you're doing, you can. So I can grab up a bunch of monsters, and then I reformatted them to fit in this 16 by 9 format, and it works really well. Most monsters in the monster manual can fit in a 5-inch by 10-inch space, like 10 inches tall, 9 inches tall. Sorry, margins, 9 inches tall, and 5.2 inches wide is. Most monsters can comfortably fit in that space. If not, then I can have them span 2 columns. So easy enough. But oh man, I'm enjoying this fade-in process here. I love doing radiance and like this murky pool here of magic. Shit's just fun. I'll lay some radiance over this so it can have like an upglow effect, and then we'll probably put a symbol or something. We'll do something with it. But right now I'm just filling this in here in a layer that's above the rest of the stump. There we go. And just fade that up a bit. Okay, I like how that. I'm liking how that's looking. Liking the looking. Come on, buddy. Thank you. Hell yeah. Ba-ba-ba-doo. I feel like giving it a tilt. Good. I never whistle. What's going on? You know what? I feel like I want to use my Mountain Razor brush. Here's how this one looks. It looks like a razor blade. Here, I'll show you. Boop. See, that's got a lot of really good looking, just on its own. It's got decent looking wood patterning on it. So if I crank this one up to like, say 80-something% strength, I can make neat little effects with it. So that's what we're going to use for now to help blend the texture here. I can bring down the opacity a little bit. Bring down the strength to like 40-something is probably right. I'm just gonna futz around with this just because I can. I mean, we're basically taking a victory lap at this point. So, and I'm keeping all of this along the flow of the stump. So I'm using the edge of the razor, the left edge here, and cutting along the contours of it. And then I'm letting the right-hand side, the interior of the blade, break up and chew on the landscape, as it were. And I can flip it over, and again, I want to work along the edge of what we're on. Here. What's up?
It can definitely be done, and it will be. It's the blow right on. What a thwart impossible. Ones I have read that are uninspired, because the new GM book by WotC has like 51 pages of intro dungeons, and they're.
I saw Ben Milton's review of that, and he was not impressed. And there's 50 of them. I'm sure some of them are better than others, but he kicked through a couple of them, and sure. Uninspired. I'm content with that state. I am content with that description. There's apparently a lot of writers, so they diversified to get that many out. Yeah. I'm rarely impressed by WotC books. And the decisions that they make on how they build their books inspires me to become a better creator. And I love the D&D IP. I've never really cared about Forgotten Realms. I've played in Forgotten Realms God knows how many times, and I've ran God knows how many adventures in Forgotten Realms back in second edition. First and second, yeah, back in second edition for certain. A lot of time in the realms because the guys I played with, they all read the novels, so they loved Forgotten Realms, and that's all they wanted to play in. And then I got into another group that was all about Dark Sun, and then I got into a group that was into Planescape and Spelljammer, and so I've kicked around a number of different settings, and yeah, I think I am now that I've found this 16:9 format for creating pages, I'm more and more motivated to explore the idea of one-page dungeons, because I could put a decent sized map in one column. It'd be 5x10. That's a decent sized map. And then have a shitload of space open for me to be able to do all sorts of control panel stuff. Or I could put the map in the middle, or it could be a really long one along the base. There's a lot of flexibility in this page format. A ton of flexibility. And if you're just going to be looking at it in a PDF anyway, then again, just make them fit the format of the device that you're using it. A one-page dungeon on a tablet behind your DM screen, you can just flip from dungeon to dungeon. That's compelling. So I'm geeking my way into thinking about doing one-page dungeons. I don't have the capacity. I don't have the bandwidth right now. But it's something that I'm aware of. To be honest with you, before I embarked on this adventure idea, I was exploring the idea of doing one-page dungeons. And I decided, you know what, I should probably do an entire adventure before I start doing one-page dungeon adventures, because I want to know the long form before I learn the quick hand. So here we are. We're here. This is where we're at. But yeah, I will not be doing another adventure like this for quite some time. This was a monster, a bear for me to build. And there are other adventures. There are other Eberron adventures that I want to publish. One in particular, specifically, I want to work on, and I probably will eventually publish. But yeah, massive adventures like this are just they're too heavy of a lift. They take too long. If I worked with other people, if I had a team, then these could be a lot more feasible. Somebody doing cartography, somebody doing writing and editing, but that is not where I am at right now. And that is, I like building these things, man. I really like doing all of it myself, making everything synchronize with each other, and that I can make a change one place, and then be able to easily go through and then have that change be consistent throughout the rest of the document. That's a monster if you're not handling all of it at the same time yourself. And until I work out more of a studio process for creating the stuff that I create, I'm going to be flying solo or just occasionally picking up somebody. Bump
this all in here like that. So again, we're blending the line art in instead of erasing it. There we go. How are we doing on time? 7:20. Okay. That feels pretty good. Almost done here. Got some lighting effects to put onto the druid from the pool, radiance. But otherwise, we're sitting pretty. 25 minutes, yeah, we can do this. 25 minutes, that's fine. There we go. See, Phil, focus. Focus, Phil, focus. Oh, it looks like I'm missing shit. Hold on. Oi, what's going on, Steve? Who wants to be... I appreciate the rant. Absolutely. I love MTG and I love D&D and I love mixing the two together. It's kept me bound here for quite some time. But yeah, I wish D&D wasn't owned by a corporation, a publicly traded company. That's what I should say. I wish D&D wasn't owned by a publicly traded company. I'm glad that it still exists. I'm glad there's still content being put out there. And to be honest, Wizards of the Coast inspires me to make books. So I appreciate them being my hate forever corporation. What am I trying to say? They hold my favorite role-playing game captive, and I feel compelled to free the rules. I hate them so much because I love it so much. You know? I don't know what this stump is all about here, but it's something I felt compelled to add in, like this little flangey here. What's up? Becky's, yeah. I love the 5e game system. I think it's great. I think it's great mechanics. I don't feel a hate on Wizards of the Coast rant is coming upon me today, but I will say the 5e game engine I think is just the best game engine. I just don't think the way that WotC uses that engine, it's like, yeah. It's like giving a racing car to somebody who's afraid to drive. But they are the anchor. They are the ones that produce the books. They are not going to do avant-garde, couture design ideas that don't guarantee money. Which again, it's a shame that it's owned by a publicly traded company, because there is just so much crazy shit you can do with the 5e game engine if you wanted to explore how the mechanics work, which is what a lot of the design work that I do is built around that. It's like taking ideas and expanding out on them and changing them to make games feel different ways. I feel like that's the spirit of what Mike Merles was talking about trying to design 5e to be modular, intentionally designed to be modular, and I think they were very successful in that sense. That if they were allowed to run and play the way that they wanted to, they could be able to expand more easily into different genres of play and still stay inside the scope of the D&D vibe.
I've talked about it a number of times. Like heists are really easy with the 5e game engine. Flashback mechanics are super simple with the 5e game engine. Time travel stuff, it's pretty easy with the 5e game engine. Mass combat is easy with the 5e game engine. Vehicle combat mechanics is easy with the 5e game engine. It's so funny. Here's a rant. It looks like, yeah, we popped it. Okay, so here's a quick rant. There's so many people that create content to fill in the gaps of 5e, like a Dominion system, or like a mass warfare system, or vehicle combat rules, and they don't use the 5e game engine when they do it. They do something silly like use D6s, or like percentiles, or introduce like new stats that you don't need, like troop strength or something like that, like troop weight or whatever. It's like, yeah, this you can use this with your 5e game, but yeah, you could also play the Dragonlance board game with your 5e game, and they are as unrelated to each other as many of the solutions that I see out there for if this is missing from your D&D campaign, include this. It's like, you know, if you're going to design for 5e, you should probably use the fucking 5e game engine for your ideas if you want to say it's for 5th edition. That's my rant. So, and I say that as a preface for if you're gonna take shots at Wizards for being shitty, and not you personally, just in general. I just mean in general. If people are going to claim that 5e is missing stuff and that they have solutions for what that missing stuff should be, they should be using the 5e game engine. And I will break my arm patting myself on the back that all the things that I'm designing, I'm very specifically cribbing to like staying inside of the 5e game engine. So it's like, yeah, here's a mass combat system, and it uses the 5e game engine to do mass combat. You're welcome. You know, it's like you don't need to buy a board game to do mass combat for D&D, and you don't need to learn a different system. It's just people just need to take the time to figure out how do they want to do what they want to do and say it in D20 plus blah language or disadvantage advantage language. Like, I think the most un-D&D thing that I have in my mechanics in general is the idea of roll multiple dice and only keep the best one. I think that is a variant, I think, away from the 5e game engine in general. I don't think there's any there's examples of re-rolling and keeping the best result. That's just post advantage. Thank you. But yeah, multiple dice and keep the best result. That's necessary. I wish the reason I introduced that is because the only way you can add more dice to somebody's ability check and stay within the bounded accuracy of the game of being able to pull off the impossible on a DC 30. The only way to stay inside that curve is by adding dice and keeping the best result. I wish that 5e, like when they designed that, like the Bardic Inspiration die or whatever, like you can only have one, like you take the best result. I could give you Bardic Inspiration and you could have Bless active and you could get Flash of Insight as a plus D6 or whatever to your check. And whatever those dice is the best, you keep that one. That would keep you inside that bounded accuracy, but it would raise the floor so that your minimums are going to get better. So you're going to always be able to accomplish smaller tasks that higher level characters with lots of buffs should be able to achieve regularly, hitting that 10, 15, 20. It's the 25 and the 30 DC that is still difficult, that creates challenges for your characters. But you fail occasionally at things that are almost impossible. So you have a realistic character that can still pull off the miraculous. It's just not all the time. Sometimes you can pull off the miraculous, but not all the time. And that's what being that's what the excitement about the die rolls ends up becoming. So
that is not how the 5e game engine currently works. But if I were to make any changes, I would say go in the direction of where Renegade Games took G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, Transformers, Power Rangers, is with those proficiency dice. And their crit system is so cool. When you roll multiple dice, it's not on the d20 that you crit,
but it's on your proficiency dice that you crit. And you could roll like 3 or 4 dice, and they could all be different sized dice. And if any of the dice that you use are the maximum die roll, it becomes a crit. So like if I was doing damage and I had the option of doing like if I was rolling, when I deal damage, I was rolling a d6, a d4, and a d8 because of reasons. And I roll a 3 on the d8, a 5 on the d6, and a 4 on the d4. When I actually deal damage, I'm going to keep the 4 because that crit. Because on a d4 it crits, but it can only crit when it crits. It goes to 8, but that's higher than the 3 I rolled on the 8-sided die. So that's actually really good to keep that. So it's a cool design that is very 5e in flavor, but it's a variant rule that completely changes the scope and the manner of the game completely. Just like how spell points and spell slots changes your game completely, proficiency dice and how you use those proficiency dice completely changes the feel of your game. In the Bastion campaign system that I developed that we're using to make the Spelljammer campaign on Mondays and Thursday nights, I use that idea as well of you can roll multiple dice and you keep the best results, but the die that you the die that you use is dependent on the rank of the facility that provides the extra die. Like your rank of your guild has a die. Like a 3rd rank guild automatically rolls a d8 when you make an ability check on behalf of the guild, or a bastion check through the guild to affect geopolitics around you. And where are we at on time? 7:30. Okay, we're doing really, really good here. But then if you want to do a research check and you have an archive that's 1st rank, it adds a d4. It would be a d4 that you roll. And if I had a library at 2nd rank, that'd be a d6. So when I make that research check, I'd roll d20 plus 3 plus d8 and d6 and d4. And of the d8, d6, and d4, whichever one of those results is the highest, I keep that result and I add my d20 plus 3. So that is the least 5e mechanic in the game that I have as far as ability checks. The other thing that's not 5e is the refund, the temporary mana that you gain from martial powers when you sacrifice an attack or a bonus action or your reaction. You get temporary mana that you can spend on your turn instead of taking that action. So like if I'm an 11th level fighter and I have 3 attacks, I can sacrifice 2 of my attack. If my first attack hits, I can sacrifice my other 2 attacks to deal extra damage and like cause an effect. Or I could sacrifice all of my attacks this round to get 3 points of mana for me to do a 3rd level spell effect or whatever with my bonus action, for instance. So it's a way for you to be able to do weeboo stuff and then sacrifice your action economy every round to be able to do it. That is not a 5e idea. Like that's not a D&D WotC idea, but it works really well with the action economy in the 5e game system. It's like, oh, I always want to use my bonus action. I don't know what to do with it. It's like, well, you could decide not to use your bonus action and add D6 to this proficiency, this ability check that you're making with your standard action. Why don't you do that instead? So now you have a reason to burn your bonus action all the time. You don't have to try to be efficient. If you want to squeeze efficiency out of your round because you want to, great. If you just want to do a big flashbang, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to dump all my action economy and I'm going to sizzle this guy for like 7d6 damage or whatever. It makes your round go, the higher levels you get, the more intricate and complicated mechanically you could make your round of combat. Or the more simple, you could make it more simple by just cashing in all your action economy and just blowing something out with a single action. Just depends on what you need to do.
So it's using the 5e game engine, and all the parts that I'm using are recognizable as 5e, but I'm using them in different ways to do different things and create different effects or different experiences at the table. Like the flashback mechanic for heists. If you take downtime to research your target of a heist, depending on the result of your research, you get a number of inspiration dice that you like bardic inspiration dice that the team gets as a pool for free. That whenever you're making an ability check during your heist, you can cash in one of your research dice and have a flashback about what did you research or what did you discover during the process that's allowing you to modify your ability check right now. And you can cash in as many dice as you want when you do it. It's just you're depleting your resource, but you have to provide a narrative reason for why you get to use this research dice. What did you discover? And then that allows the players to create ad hoc details that color the flavor of the adventure in their favor that the DM then gets to use and riff on. Like, I get past the guard because I helped him get his daughter braces, like from Ocean's 11. It's classic. And so the guard isn't actually beating him up in the room locked. He's just punching a pillow, and they're all just making noise while they're smoking cigarettes. So that's because, you paid $10,000 to this guard to make sure that he was going to be cool with him when he came through. But these are all 5e game engine ideas. We're just using them in different ways. So my rant about D&D is that it looks at 5e one way, and it's very slow to adapt. But it's the foundation of the entire. It's the creator of the 5e game engine. I don't expect them to be innovative as a corporation, but as an independent company, I bet they could have been. Guidance is the most. Oh my god! Yeah, I'm so sick of guidance. When I forget its verbal meaning, it's blabbing their guns. Yeah. Guidance is ridiculous. I keep my players in initiative order all the time. Like, I constantly run with initiative rolling. So if you want to give somebody guidance, they have to delay a round to have guidance put onto them. And when you're out of combat, that might not seem important. But I ask everybody what they're doing, and it's like, yeah, I want to pick the lock. It's like, well, I want to give them guidance. It's like, okay, well, you can't pick if you want to give them guidance to pick the lock, then you can't unless they want to delay picking the lock. So you can't do that right now because they're already picking the lock. So you have outside of combat, you have to prep it. I don't let you just ad hoc do it unless it's a very, very loose situation, and I don't care. But if you're like doing exploration and stuff like that, I keep you in initiative so that you have an initiative order. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Okay, great. And if we're doing group initiative, like out of combat group initiative, everyone declares what they want to do, and they can modify what they want to do. It's like, yeah, I'm going to pick the lock. Okay, great. I'm going to give you guidance. But while you're doing that, what are you guys doing? Because you have to do something. Oh, we don't do anything. We have to do something. So make an observation or contemplate the multiverse or do something. You don't just skip. You're always doing something. Even if it's just keeping watch, you get to add your die roll into the pool of what's going on. And that limits the person that's giving guidance to at least only giving guidance to one person per action. Because if you got a team of 5 people that are searching a room, that room is done being searched after one turn of people rotating through stuff. So that guidance is only going to get used on probably one thing. Unless there's a trap that gets discovered and they want to peel it apart. And then that's going to be another round of activity. So the guidance giver can give guidance during that process. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine with having a D4 tacked on to one person per round if they're preparing for it or building in the action economy for themselves to do it. But it's like whenever anybody is like chaining ability checks, like I'm going to check the door, I'm going to check the door, I'm going to check the door, and then giving guidance to each one of them as they do it. It's like, get the hell out of here. That's crazy. That is crazy talk. let's tap that. I'm pretty happy with this, but I want some darker bits in here. Darkness. What the hell is going on in my world? There we go. I'm going to have to reduce this because this black is too dark for the rest of the piece. It's blowing out the foreground. But I wanted to add in just a little bit of up texture here. I'm pretty happy with how this stump looks overall. And then I'm going to work on highlighting the druid. And we'll see if there's anything that needs to be corrected. I'm sorry, were we talking about something? I feel like I was on a rant and disappeared. Oh, guidance, right. Nice. Yeah, I'm not a fan of silvery barbs either. I do not allow that spell at my table. I am borderline banning guidance. I'm on the edge. Oh wait, they changed it. I think they changed it in 5e24, so you can only benefit from it like once every rest. I don't necessarily agree with that decision. Like, I don't necessarily know if that's the way to have handled it. That feels pretty good. Yeah. What's up? It'd be funny that after a third time cleric gives guidance, they have a dream with their god.
Now you know how that feels.
I guess my rant's over. That's good. I don't like bitching too much. I am very passionate about it. Obviously, I invest a lot of time and love into the 5e game engine, D&D in particular. Oh, that's fun. I found a neat little thing to do. Let's go back to our reference. Yes. This was the point of interest that I didn't know was coming. Okay, I'm going to have to spend some time on mushrooms. I didn't know I was gonna find these things, but apparently these things exist. So now I have to spend time with mushrooms. That feels pretty good. Not like that. Kind of like that. Maybe a little bit more like that. Yeah, we are not going to get that done because I want to put a shroom here, 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 and here, and then over here, and then have some shrooms up on here.
So we're gonna be adding in some shrooms along here, and that's gonna take a little bit of time. Not enough time left in today's session to do that. So I've just found a way for me to extend work on this project a little bit longer. Not necessarily what I wanted to do, but it's what we're doing. That probably means I'm going to play with mushrooms and stuff tonight. And if I can get that all resolved tonight, I will. I think I still plan on working on a new piece tomorrow. Come on, buddy, give me that. Thank you. I have to be careful about this. I need to switch to my cloud brush and go with a low opacity. It's easy to fuck this up. Like the proximity, doing too much or too little, yeah. Come on, buddy. You can do this. There. And just keep on, and then we'll drop the transparency a little bit. Away and fade that in. Get the contours of the hand. Does a good job adding meat to the thumb. I like how that does. Just blend it in. And let's drop the opacity down a little bit. Nice. I like how that turned out. That's really fucking nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right, so we can do a little bit more over here.
Let's go find our... texture brush here. Yeah, it feels good enough. I'm gonna let that sit. Now we can get back to mushrooms. Mushrooms! Oh, I need 100%. Thank you. And we're just gonna, yeah, so we're just gonna finish out the episode playing with mushrooms. Oh wait, there was something more. I'm gonna put shrooms on top. Zero, 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 zero. How fun. There, like that. Before I forget, what I need to do is add our block back in. And let's see about wrong button. There we go. That's the free transform. Flip horizontal. Merge down. What's up? Mushroom Elite, do not give players red caps. Really obvious poison. Nice. Round that off and center of the pool blocks most of the hand, but that's okay. Good. Let's take that and let's merge these layers. Merge down. There, and let's new layer. Huh. Oh, I know what happened. There we go. Bring this back in. Come on, buddy. Thank you. What is going on? My freaking tools. Actually. Thank you. Let's duplicate this layer. Just the way you are. And
Hey, that's my timer.
let's go with filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Nice. This is the symbol from a bar.
So this druid is giving you a quest to go find out what's going on with the plane of a bar. So there it is. And that's my session for the day. So 7:50. Yeah, I gotta get the hell out of here. 7:57. I'm pretty happy with this piece. We still have some shrooms to do up around in here, and that's gonna be fun. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I'm kind of interested in starting on a new piece tomorrow, and maybe I'll just finish these mushrooms and stuff off screen and just share this with you guys when it's finally done. But yeah, that's it for now today. So I'm gonna be back tomorrow. We're gonna start on whatever we're gonna do tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night. We're going to work on the Eberron Spelljammer Mecha Kaiju bashing campaign that we've been building online. So if you want to check that stuff out with me, like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Appreciate folks hanging out with me. I will see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks a lot.